Hello and welcome back to Quick and Healthy with me, Mr. G. You know, a lot of times you'll cook a really nice dinner and the leftovers that are left from cooking just go to waste. I'm not a big advocate of wasting leftovers. I like to use the leftovers that I have in the refrigerator. Well, on our last show, you'll remember that I made us some nacho grandes, some big plates full of nachos, and they included sauteed peppers and onions. Well, I've added to the leftover sauteed peppers and onions some sauteed mushrooms and some minced garlic. And watch what I'm going to do with that right in a minute here. You're going to like this. We'll move our garlic over there. The next thing that I've got here in front of us is I've got some low-fat mayonnaise. This is low-fat mayonnaise dressing. Only 1 gram of fat and 15 calories. And it is also fairly low in sodium, 130 milligrams. Let's take this and let's put about 2 tablespoons of that into some type of a bowl. 2 heaping tablespoons would be good. There we go. So we've got about 2 heaping tablespoons. So that's probably all in all, I'd say probably about 4 grams of fat. Let's move that aside. Let's take our leftovers that I've added the sauteed mushrooms and the garlic into, and let's dump that right on top of there. Just like that. Should get all that out. What I'm making today is I'm making sort of a salmon wrap. In our last episode, I talked a little bit about fiber. Let me tell you what, fiber intake is very important to your diet. If you want to lose weight and if you want to eat healthily, you should eat a lot of fiber. How much is a lot of fiber? Well, I would say for the average person, you should be trying to get about 30 grams of fiber per day. I personally try to go between 40 and 50 grams of fiber per day. That's kind of difficult to do. What I do is I just make sure that all of the foods that I eat, especially my breakfast foods, that's a big source of fiber, your breakfast foods. You can find a lot of the breakfast items with a lot of fiber out on the market today. Low fat, high fiber, very important. A diet rich in omega-3s, very important, very good for your heart healthy. Let me tell you what I'm going to make today. What we're making today is we're making a wrap. The wrap will have pink wild salmon, and this is a pre-prepared salmon. Now I've already taken, like I said before, the peppers and the onions, and I've added some mushrooms and some garlic here. I'm going to take the salmon, we're going to open this up. We're going to see just how much fiber this can actually be. It's quite a bit actually. We're going to dump that salmon right down in to our mixture here. Put this aside. Now we're going to add also some feta cheese. Feta cheese, you're saying that's super high in fat. That's terrible for you. Well, you can actually now buy fat-free feta cheese. I find this at several different markets around me, and I love this stuff because it has a beautiful flavor. It tastes just like normal feta cheese. However, it is fat-free. Now I'm going to take some of this, probably about, if I had to guess, I'd say about a 1/4 cup of this. That's good. Maybe not quite that much, not quite a 1/4 cup. We're going to mix that all in there as well. Now we're going to break up our fresh salmon, our Alaskan caught pre-prepared packaged vacuum-packed salmon. You can use fresh salmon too, just make sure you cook it. To cook your salmon, you can bake it in the oven, just in a normal baking dish. You might want to spray that baking dish with some extra virgin olive oil or some grapeseed oil before you put the salmon into the bottom of it. And then just add a little bit of water to the pan, the baking dish, and bake that in an oven of about 375 degrees for probably only, seriously, for fairly thin salmon fillets, probably about 10 to 15 minutes. You'll know when it's done because the salmon will become flaky. It'll become flaky and kind of more, not quite as translucent looking. It'll look more solid and it'll become flaky. Now, here's our mixture. We've got that all together there. It's almost like a tuna salad, but with salmon. And it's got a lot of nice fresh vegetables in it. Now, fiber. Fresh vegetables have fiber. The salmon I just used has no fiber. We're going to have a side dish today of what we call whole grain brown ready rice. Now be careful, these packages of rice that you buy in the store sometimes can be loaded with sodium and not good for you at all. You've got to look for a little seal here that says heart healthy, or I should say healthy heart. It says supports a healthy heart, little heart on there. Now if I read this, this only has 15 milligrams of sodium, only 3 grams of fat per serving, and a serving is half of this pouch. That's quite a bit. And 240 calories. Now rice will be a little higher in calories. But we're not going to worry about that because what we have here is very low in calories. Our salmon, in fact, per serving only has 90 calories, and there's only 2 servings in that pack. The mayonnaise, 15 calories for a tablespoon, so we put about 4 total tablespoons because of 2 heaping tablespoons into this. So let's see, what did I say, how many calories? 15, 30, 60 calories total in here. So we're not looking at a lot. Our feta cheese, although it's fat-free, is going to have some calories. Let's see how many here. 35 calories per serving, and a serving is, oh, let's see, it's about 1 ounce. I'd probably put about 2 to 3 ounces in there. So you do the math. There's not a whole lot of calories in this stuff. Another thing, I have my extra hot peppers that I chunked up. I'm just going to put those on top of mine because not everybody likes hot, spicy foods. Now, I came across these little gems that I just love. They're soft wraps, and these have 12 grams of dietary fiber. They come in different flavors. This is tomato basil. They come in like all different sorts. Now, let's take our wrap. Let's lay it on a plate here. One more thing that I forgot that I want to add to this dish. We're going to add some fresh spinach leaves. What we're going to do with these though, this is pre-washed. Comes right out of the package washed, so there's no extra need to rinse or wash it. You may want to, but for sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right on the wrap here. We're going to put that right on top of the wrap. We're going to scoop our mixture onto the wrap like this. Make sure you get a lot of the vegetables, peppers and onions and so forth, until you've got a nice pile right in the middle there. That's probably plenty. Now, see how that looks? It's kind of all in the center. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and fold this over just a little bit. We're going to move our end in here like this, fold that in, and then we're going to fold this end in. Now we're going to continue to roll this or wrap this, and it's going to be huge and fat. Don't worry about getting your fingers messy, you're going to. There's one ready to go. Let's make a second one on that same plate. Now, these are going to be microwaved, so don't worry about needing a different baking dish or something to bake them in, or the oven or whatever. Now I'm going to do this a little backwards. I'm going to put these on here, put this mixture on there of the salmon and the peppers and so on, and then I'll add some spinach on top of that. It doesn't matter what order you go in. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this like that. I'm going to pull this around. We're going to do this one a little backwards, but that's okay because I just want to make sure we get it rolled up. And there we go. Now I've got 2 of those ready to be placed into the microwave, and we're going to do that here in just a second, and we'll see how those come out. Before we put those in the microwave, however, your rice, how do you do it? Squeeze the pouch until it's all basically broken up. Then vent, just a small vent. That's some rice is spilling out, no big deal. You might want to tap it down. Now we'll put that in the microwave first. Be right back. Okay, I've got my rice into the microwave in the pouch. That's the way it's supposed to be cooked. It's vented, it's been broken up. We're going to set that for 90 seconds as it says on the package and hit start and let that cook. Okay, our rice is ready, and I put a 3rd wrap onto our plate here. The ends are starting to come unfolded. Don't worry about that. These are really stuffed full. I'm going to place our wraps into the microwave now. I'm going to set the timer for 3 minutes. However, I'm going to use a different power setting. I'm going to set it for power level 5. Normally your power levels 1 through 9 basically are like a percentage. 5 would be 50% power. On normal microwaves, you want to cook certain foods at a lower power setting. This cycles the microwave on and off. This will be cycled on and off at 50%, so actually 3 minutes becomes 1.5 minutes of total cooking time. Now, we're going to check those after that 3-minute period, and I decided I'm going to sprinkle some fat-free mozzarella cheese on top of them, placing them back in the microwave to let that melt. We'll see how those come out in just a minute here. If you were with me on our first cooking show, Quick and Easy with Mr. G, and you know that I made the nachos grande, and like I said, I'm using the leftovers from that meal to create the new meal today. I also want to focus on healthy snack alternatives. So look for a show in the future that'll basically feature bags of healthy snacks that you can just pop open and you can just pop in your mouth and you can eat throughout the day, but they will not make you gain weight. In fact, they'll probably help you lose weight. In fact, since I've started losing so much weight, I actually eat more throughout the day than I used to eat when I was a lot bigger. how could that be? How can I eat more? It's because the choice of foods that I choose to eat actually are foods that are high in fiber, rich in antioxidants, they're low in sodium, and they're low in fat. Now, calories are another story. You've got to be careful with your calorie intake as well. I'm trying to keep myself at this point down to about 1,500 or less calorie a day diet. The normal average American diet, according to the Food and Drug Administration or different health sources, should, they say, be around 2,000 calories per day. That's fine. You can actually have your calorie intake be 4,000 calories a day if you want. It depends on how much output you have, how much output through exercise. Now, it's winter time here in Ohio. I don't get as much exercise as I would by throwing boomerang and whatnot in the spring, or riding bikes, or hiking with the dogs. So, because it is winter time, I need to reduce my caloric intake overall because I'm not having near as much output of energy. But when I come to the Healthy Snack Alternative Show, I will give you great ideas for snacking all you want and still remaining slim and healthy. Our microwave went off. Let's put the cheese on. Oh, those are starting to smell great. Let's put some of this fat-free mozzarella cheese on here. Don't need a whole lot. What I just put on there was probably... You'll notice I don't ever measure. I've learned to cook without measuring, and I'm going to try to teach you the same thing. This is probably about a quarter cup of cheese. This cheese is very low in calories, and definitely it's zero fat. Let's put that back in there until that cheese melts. Put it in for about 50 seconds. That should be long enough. Now, you're saying, surely you're not going to eat all of that. You're right. This would be 3 servings, a great lunch food. I'm going to eat one of those today for lunch. And when I do eat it, I'll cut into it, I'll slice it open, and you can see what it looks like on the inside. I decided at the last minute to also make a nice dip for these, or a nice sauce to put them in. Basically what I've got here is I've got some light Parmesan Asiago balsamic vinaigrette dressing, only 1 gram of fat per serving. Servings 2 tablespoons, we're going to use maybe about a tablespoon and a half. I've also got a French light dressing, 1 gram of fat per serving as well. So we're going to use about a tablespoon of that, or maybe a little more. Maybe a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons. Doesn't matter, we're not going to use all this sauce, it's just we have to use enough to get a blended amount so that it blends properly. I also here have horseradish. This is ground horseradish. It's fresh ground horseradish. The fresher horseradish is, oh boy, that's hard to say. The fresher horseradish is, the more heat or more bite it will have to it. I like a bitey type sauce here. So we're going to mix those up, and we're going to spread that on top of our wrap when we have it on our plate. Well, the wraps are almost ready. Total cooking time for those wraps in the microwave was about 3.5 minutes, maybe 4. Okay, our meal is pretty much prepared. We want to present it nicely though, so I got another dish out here, another dinner plate, and we're going to put a little of the rice on. I nuked this rice just a little bit longer. There we go. Let's take one of our nice wraps here. Ooh, those look good. Oh, those look so good. Nice and hot. Let's lay that on there as well. Delicious. Let's take our sauce, and let's drizzle that over the top of our wrap. And there you have it. Let's take a nice look at that. Pretty, isn't it? Let's see how it looks inside. Oh. Look at that. It's coming unwrapped, but boy, it looks delicious. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Let's see how it tastes. It's maybe rather messy. I'm not worried about it though. Let's see how that tastes. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed our quick and easy seafood, or should I say wild Alaskan salmon wrap made with leftovers from yesterday's dinner that I had on the first show. That was the Nachos Grande. I hope you tune in next time. I think next time I'm going to go ahead and talk about healthy snack alternatives. See you then.